Condolences on your loss. You lost one of your members, and felt that for you, and a new Ted, so my condolences.
Appreciate that very much. So how have you been one of the teams to unlock the secret of the Jets? Inside information?
No, you know what? That's as fast a first period as we've seen this year, and that's not my assessment. That's my players talking to two or three of them that got up and down the ice as fast as we've seen. There's no secret. Yeah, catch them at the end of a long road trip. Maybe it might be the secret, but it'll be a different game in here tonight.
What are they doing that's different from?
Well, they've come of age. Like, their best players, I think they might even be a little bit older than we are. I mean, these guys are now in their prime. They've played together. They've got a really, really strong structure, not just to their game, but to their lineup. They've got a dominant checking line, which means they're going to be very strong at home. And tremendous speed, like right straight through those 12, and the back end can move the puck to them, and Connor Hellebuck's in behind them. So we don't feel, and we didn't go in there any holes to their game. They don't have any. The score is not what happened in the game, in part because both teams have enough shooters that if you made the chances 20-20, it could be 2-1 or 18-17. It could be that the shooters are that good, the goaltending is that good. So it's as, oh, sorry, that's what you get, brother. Get leaning in there a little long. It's as fast and as good a team as we've played at the 17-8 game now, whatever we're at.
Is that as close to as good of a game as your team's played in a while, Paul?
Oh, in a while. We come out, we were worried about how we would come out of the Finland trip, and we should have been. Liked our first game, but we caught Nashville back-to-back, so they didn't have much. And then we were behind it for 3, so we needed to get back on it. I think that's the fastest team I've seen in transition, but within structure. There are teams that can play really fast, they're just all over the ice, and they're dangerous, but they usually don't win very much. These guys are fast in structure, and they've got speed, but there's a system to being that fast. Second Dallas game was a 1-goal game for us in the third. That was a heck of a game. Jersey played very well to beat us, and they were as good at our game as we'd like to be. So we've seen some good teams. Winnipeg's the fastest.
Does what you've been through, Paul, for the last couple of years help you maintain the snarl, even though there's not a reason to after you've played as well a game that you have, because you know what you're missing coming into here tonight?
It's all personnel based. That's the kind of players that we have. They're physical within reason. I don't think we're as physical as our reputation. But 2 years ago, what's the truth? We played like asses. It's probably like we were running around, right? We were a high event game every night. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because you got to get your energy level up. But we've actually become a very disciplined team for the most part since that time. And if you wanted to just chart graph it, just chart Matthew Tkachuk's penalty minutes over the last 2 years. I mean, he was fairly close to leading the league, I would think, by January's first year. And then if you can sub out the games that he plays against his brother, so we've become a far more disciplined team. We do have a physical component. But because of the way we played 2 years ago, last year everybody came to the rink going, it's on. It's going to be a hard game. And then when you have the success we did, they also get wired for the game. So it kind of happens. What we get a lot of is, there were a few hits at the end of the game last game. It's just not that big a deal. That happens to us a lot. And we are actually quite disciplined. We don't take a lot of penalties. We've been pretty strong with that.
Paul, you talked about having played good teams. You've done well against a lot of the teams that would be considered teams that would be in the Stanley Cup. What is it about this team and its seeming ability to rise to the occasion against the league's best?
Well, maybe fear, because we know they will. Like, we know they're coming, right? Everybody, and this happened to Las Vegas last year. When you win, everybody circles it, and you got a pretty good team, and they know that it's going to be on, and we're aware of that. And I think our big challenge, and this isn't particular to the Florida Panthers, I think it happens when you win, is to find that emotional energy in the games. A good friend Ralph Kruger said, you're not going to start the season where you ended, but you're going to think you should. And that's kind of what we're dealing with. Like you get anxious and you get antsy because it's not as physical, it's not as intense. Well, it can't be. So that's our challenge, is finding that level. it's a hard thing to do. When we play Winnipeg, it's a little easier because we know they'll blow the doors off you if you're not ready to play. So it's easier to find that emotional intensity. It's not a lack of character on our team. It's not that they don't try. It's not that, that idea that we don't get up for teams below us in the standings. I don't think that's ever been true. I think our record is really, really good against the teams below us. But this year, when you're searching for that passion that we need to play with, we played some hockey, so it's not like our last game last season. It's not the same energy level, and we have to find it. We got to go out and find it, and I thought we did the other night.
Well, you're very familiar with the fans here and their
Yeah.
creativity and the chants. What do you anticipate?
Oh, I don't know, but it's going to be good.
For your Sunrise
It's,
fans
I
on
don't know.
Saturday night?
It's going to be good, and I kind of like that, like in the awareness of how good that was. Actually, there's some respect in that, right? And that they follow the game now, and they follow the team, and they know that Winnipeg's off to a historical start. So I went to a Bombers game a few years ago, and I sat beside 4 guys, and it was a comedy show the entire night. I think the funniest fans in the league are here. They are awesome, so it'll be pretty good. I try to have my card in front of my face when that happens if I can.
Paul, on the topic of the last game that you played last year, and I'm not sure if it was organic or if it was spur of the moment, but what triggered the comment about Winnipeg? And did you have any idea how that would resonate in this market?
It's like most things in my life. It's out of my mouth before my brain decides whether I should say it or not. So I can't explain the emotion, and it's different for everybody, but there's this incredible sense of peace, but like love, right? Like, I love those guys in that room, and it's so hard to win. But I feel the same way about everybody here. I still love this place. My daughter lives here. My kids went to high school here. So much of this is just home. And Winnipeg is a special team. It's not like any place else. It's in a different market. It's not the biggest market. They've lost their team. It's come back. There's a connection there. I would love all the people that I love here in Winnipeg to feel what I was feeling on the ice. That was the whole thing. Like, I was feeling this everything was in it. Euphoria, certainly relief on my part, but it's a feeling of all the people that you love are happy at the same time, and I would love for Winnipeg to feel that, because it would make the Jets even like more special. I think I used the word next, but I didn't mean like next year. I mean, like, we'd like to hang on to it if we can for a while. So it's like maybe after we're done, maybe.
Can I ask you one? Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to ask, and I hope I've got the memory of this right, but I remember when you were coaching in Winnipeg, you were sort of proud to give the room to the players, that was their domain, that was their space. And I'm not sure if that's been your approach in Florida, how you've gone there, and I'm wondering if you have changed, how much of that is you, how much is the players?
Well, I think it's a necessary evolution of your room to have a chance to win that the coach doesn't run the room. I think the players have to run the room. So you're responsible for standards in that room, play, all those kind of things. But at the end of the day, if it's not as important or more important to the men in the room than it is to the guy behind the bench, I just don't think you can win. The players run the room.
A lot of the media about your cup run, and I'm thinking of the Amazon series, shows guys like Matthew Tkachuk enjoying the joy of the challenge all the way right down to Game 7. So how much has come from that? How impressed? Like, did you know that could be the way guys carried themselves in a room?
We openly talked about that for the last 2 years, because 2 years ago it was our only chance of winning, is that we had to find a way to work hard at the other team but also have more fun. And I'm talking about have more fun while you're working that hard on the bench, when it's shitty, when it's, the tie game with 8 minutes left. You got to find a way to enjoy that. So we talked about that all the time. And we talk about it when we get to those situations in games now, that we have to figure out a way, even when the coaches growly, to enjoy it.
To ask you one
Sure.
non-hockey question?
Yeah.
If you happen to run into Mike O'Shea today and he
No.
lost his third straight Grey Cup, what would you say to him?
No, so I get it. Like, the agony of the 2 previous. So my youngest went to school with his youngest. I got to know Mike a little bit. Okay, like, what I like about it mostly is that when we had coffee early on, things weren't great with the Blue Bombers, right? Like, I don't know enough about football, but it seems to me like he built that, right? That's, so God, I can't, I mean, I've been on both sides of it now, not as often on the good side as he has, but I think there's just a tremendous amount, I'd hope, once the pain goes away, there's a tremendous amount of pride in the program that he's built and in this community for how special it is, how hard it is to do what he's done.
Thank you.
Okay, guys.